How quickly can he get on the field? Does he have the chance to go in and compete for a starting job in year one? I do think that's going to play into it. Welcome into special Thursday edition of On Texas Football. We're talking football recruiting in this video. Got some news on the 40 acres today. Texas was back on the practice field this morning. Will Muschamp and the defensive staff members met with the media today. While we were kind of covering that and waiting for that to happen with CJ Vogel, Hank South, and Jeff Howe, news broke that Texas had a number of visitors on campus today. One of those is a marquee name in this 2027 class. It's five-star cornerback John Meredith III. He is out of North Crowley in Fort Worth, played his before that at Euless Trinity before transferring to North Crowley here for the spring semester. John Meredith played the Under Armour All-America game. He's a consensus five-star prospect in the 27 class. He is ranked as the number 1 or 2 prospect in the state of Texas in this 2027 class. And the key here is while his recruitment will go through the official visit process into June, probably a decision in July, barring a major change, John Meredith is back on campus today, and he has been playing on weekends with the national 7-on-7 circuit, so he has not really been out and about to see schools this spring. So the fact that he's on campus in Austin today is big news for the Longhorns because they've been working on getting him on campus. A source very close to the recruitment who allowed us to break all the visit news as this recruitment's kind of started to unfold here when the official visits were set. He told me a couple of weeks ago, the source told me that it wasn't likely that he would be making a weekend visit anywhere for the spring. And that makes sense because he has 7-on-7 every weekend playing on the national circuit. So it makes sense that John Meredith III gets to campus today on a Thursday. But it's big news because, look, he hasn't been on campus for a while. He wasn't at junior day. So there are questions whether he was going to make it to campus before the June official visit. He had already canceled a Notre Dame visit earlier in the spring. So Texas A&M, everybody's been working to get him on campus this spring. And Texas now has had John Meredith, has him on campus today watching practice, hanging out with the defensive staff. Texas isn't recruiting anybody harder than they are John Meredith on the defensive side of the football. His official visit schedule, which will be coming up the last weekend in May, begins with Alabama, May 28th through 30th. He will then go to Texas June 5th through 7th. That is the date Texas requested. They wanted to get him on campus the first weekend of June, one of their 3 big recruiting weekends. Texas had gone to the people, to John and the people around him, and requested that they get the June 5th through 7th visit. Then he has A&M on the 12th through 14th before concluding with Ohio State on the 19th and 21st. Going into these visits this spring, and we'll see where else he does in fact go. On Texas Football continues to hear the same thing from our source, is that they expect this recruitment to come down to Texas versus Texas A&M. Now, we are not discounting old Ohio State or anybody else in the NIL era. That would be foolish of us. But at the end of the day, this source has been consistent for months now that they believe this recruitment will come down ultimately to Texas versus Texas A&M. They're really weighing everything with the recruitment. NIL will be very impactful, of course, but they're really digging into, look, the Texas defensive staff with Will Muschamp, with Blake Gideon, even though he's playing corner. What is that secondary staff? Mark Orfe has done a great job recruiting John Meredith. Will Muschamp is very involved in that as well. But what is that going to look like with Will Muschamp? What does that corner position look like at Texas A&M? Obviously, Ohio State's giving him the big sell too. So there's a number of things that are going to factor into this recruitment. I would say NIL is going to be a big one. I would say how quickly can he get on the field? Does he have the chance to go in and compete for a starting job in year one? I do think that's going to play into it for John Meredith, and then the overall feel he has with the defensive coordinator and the cornerbacks coach at those schools. And I think Texas A&M have both done a pretty good job to this point, very good job recruiting John and the people around them, as is Ohio State and Alabama and everybody. But I would say where I would rank this right now is Texas A&M 1A, 1B, however you want to put them, Ohio State 3, Alabama 4, and we'll see if Miami can get into that mix. But it's a big news to have John Meredith on campus today. Again, he hasn't been on campus for a while, so Texas getting him on campus on this Thursday on a practice day, I think is going to be impactful for the Longhorns as he gets close to these official visits. There's also a linebacker. A new offer went out today, 2027. We've been saying Texas is continuing to evaluate players. We don't think the offers are done. We think this official visit list could grow to near 60. All of those 60 won't end up making visits, but we could see that official visit growing to near 60. Toa Satele from Miliani High in Hawaii is on campus. Texas offered him today. A guy that has 32 offers so far. He's a 4-star ranked linebacker out of Hawaii. Obviously, Johnny Nansen recruits a lot of players out of Hawaii. Texas has recruited Hawaii, whether it was PK or Johnny Nansen at the linebacker position, obviously, here since Sark's been at Texas. But this is one of the top linebacker prospects in the country, 6'3", 205 pounds. He has those long levers. He has that range. I think is really big for Will Muschamp, the range. His father, Samson, played at Hawaii, was a second-round pick in the NFL by the Miami Dolphins in 2007. So his football runs deep in the family. The most recent offers, now, Satele had a ton of offers his sophomore year going into this year. The most recent offers were Penn State, Arkansas, and Boise State before Texas today. He had a number of SEC offers, Miami, a bunch of national powers prior to that. But big news to get Satele on campus today. The one area for Texas we've been talking about, we expect a couple more official visitors to be added to this list on defense are linebacker and in the secondary. And so here is one today in Satele. There's no doubt that Texas is working to get him back for an official visit, while also talking about recruiting. Nick Robertson, the Texas signee on the interior offensive line, on campus today watching spring practice. We expect him to be back for the spring game unless he has something going on with track and field that might keep him from being back on campus. Tomorrow, we also have some other recruiting news that we got to keep talking about. Tomorrow, around 6 p.m., Keon Hemphill-Woods, the offensive lineman out of Columbus, will announce his decision. Some confidence on the Texas side there. Texas A&M, Oklahoma, Auburn, Tennessee, all in it, have all offered him. He picked up a number of SEC offers and Power 4 offers since the end of his junior season. But Keon Hemphill-Woods, he's been to Texas twice, when he was offered in March and then was back again last Friday for the scrimmage. He was there along with Jackson Cook, who's committed to the Texas Longhorns. So we'll see which way that one goes. But Keon Hemphill-Woods will announce his decision tomorrow, Friday, around 6 p.m. in Columbus on Texas football. Will be on hand for his announcement. See if that one goes the way of the Texas Longhorns this weekend. It's a day away. We expect a lot of talented players to be on campus this weekend for the Saturday scrimmage. A lot of those guys will get in Friday at some point or Saturday morning. Some of those names, I think the key names, Ishmael Kamara, the near 5-star offensive tackle out of Gilmer, scheduled to be in Saturday. We have a King Hall who just recently committed to Oregon, one of the very best defensive back prospects in America, could end up being a 5-star, close to it. He committed to Oregon Monday, told on Texas football Monday night. His visits remain. So him and his parents are expected at Texas this weekend. Jannard Albright, one of the better-looking athletes I've seen in person in this class, 6'2", about 207, plays safety at Effingham County down by Savannah, Georgia, scheduled to be in this weekend, as is Jabarius Guerrer, the big edge linebacker out of Viger High in Pritchard, Alabama, scheduled to make his first unofficial visit to Texas, as is King, as is Albright. So it's a big weekend coming up for Texas to get guys on campus for the first time. Talon Mayo, corner out of Louisville, also scheduled to be on campus Saturday, 6'3", 185-pound corner, a guy that is not very vocal about his recruiting process. Texas has been in constant contact with him. It's been a while since he's been on campus. He's scheduled to be on campus Saturday as well. That won't be the only names. Those are some of the bigger names. We think we'll have more names pop up tomorrow and then Saturday, the day of the Texas scrimmage, because that April 18th spring game weekend or spring practice weekend, there's a lot of competition. A&M has spring game, Oklahoma has spring game, a couple others around the country. So those guys are going to be dispersed more around the country, some of those top prospects. So it's vital that Texas gets some of those guys on campus this weekend and really starts making moves with guys like a King Hall and Jannard Albright to see if they can, Talon Mayo, to see if they can get those official visits in June scheduled. But again, to reiterate, the big news today is John Meredith III back on campus for the first time in a while, the top cornerback prospect on the board for the Longhorns, one of the top corners, if not the top corner prospect in the country, consensus 5-star. John Meredith III on campus today. His official visits will tell the final story there with Texas June 5th, A&M the 12th through 14th, Ohio State the 19th through 21st, Alabama that last weekend of May. But big at any rate to get him more face time with Mark Orfe, with Will Muschamp, with Steve Sarkisian today. And then obviously the linebacker from Hawaii in the 27 class offered today, and we expect an OV to be set up. Thanks for joining in on this special edition, recruiting edition of On Texas Football. We'll keep you up to date with what we learn here coming up in the next 24 to 48 hours. And we'll also probably be back with a basketball portal update because it's moving fast. We expect basketball visitors on campus on the men's side and the women's side this weekend. We'll tell you more about that in the coming hours. Thanks for joining in.
Hey guys, Blake Monroe here from Coffee and Football. YouTube thinks that you're going to like this video right here. And if the algorithm knows ball, it's a good one. So go check it out. And then don't forget, hit that like and subscribe button.